Thank you for visiting my site. My name is Kayoko Yoshikai. Health is found in nature is my favorite saying. Today, I'd like to introduce author Bobby Warren, and this is her book.
So it is absolutely fascinating art to learn how to read feet. I have, the one thing that my mother had very, very narrow, no, she still does, has these narrow feet. They're very petite, they're very elegant. And when we first learned this, we looked at the feet, and she has what they call princess feet. And what that means is that it's a person who is very good at delegating things and getting other people to do what you want them to do. Well, I look at my mother, and she is an incredibly hardworking person. At 82, she's still, like you say, she's the Energizer Bunny, and she keeps going. Well, what we also realized, she is very good at getting me to do things for her. It's just something that comes second nature. So the feet don't lie. It is absolutely incredible the things that you can learn about looking at your friend's feet. I also had one where the long second toe and third toe, if they are equal in length and they're very long, longer than the big toe. I was at a barbecue at the beach one summer, and my friend said, "Can you look at my husband's feet? Can you tell me what you see?" I took one look at his foot, and I thought, whoa, I wonder what he does for a living. So I asked him, I said, what you do for a living, does it have to do with something that's emotional based? You think with your seventh sense, intuitiveness. Do you have intuition, and is it something that you are somewhat analytical about? And he looked at me and he said, "I'm a homicide detective." That was an amazing revelation to me. I'm going to give you one more example, and that was a lady that was a student of ours. She's in her 80s. Now, one foot, the right foot, has to do with how you responded to things in life in the past. The right foot has to do with how you respond to things now. Well, it was her right foot that had this happen. She had a bunion on her, and her big toe was really pointed toward her baby toe. She had no second toe. The second toe had been amputated. And the third toe was actually bending toward the big toe. Actually, the third toe was wrapped over the big toe. And I asked her, I said, "Can I tell you what I see?" And she said, "Please." And I said, "Well, what was it that you did in the past that absolutely what you did," because the third toe has to do with your passion and drive in your work and what you like to do, like hobbies and things like that. The second toe has to do with emotions and feelings. The big toe relates to the skull, the head, so it has to do with your ego, your self-esteem, who you think you are. Well, the second toe had been totally removed. The third toe was wrapped over the big toe. So I said, whatever you were doing, absolutely your feelings were taken out of the picture, and it overshadowed what you wanted, who you thought you were, anything like that. What happened to you? Well, she looked at me and she said, back in the 50s, I got married at an early age. I had several children, and she said it wasn't until later I realized I had married an abuser. And she said, so I left him and took my children. She said, but back then, women could only either do teacher or nurse or secretary. That was pretty much it, which were pretty much limited to do back then. She said, so I became a nurse. And she said, I raised those children, and one's a doctor, one's a lawyer. She said she was so proud, you could see it beaming out of her face. And I looked and I said, but how did you feel about that? Because your feelings were totally taken out of the picture. They'd been amputated, literally, the toe had been amputated. And she looked at me and she said, it didn't matter what I felt. I did what I had to do. And that's what her foot told me. Foot reading is amazing. It really, really is. Your body cannot, you can lie, but your body and your feet will not. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed segment 4. Wasn't it amazing what your feet say about you? Please join us for segment 5, where Muff and Bobby talk about healing their relationship through reflexology. Thank you for visiting my site, kayokoyoshikai.com.